Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, James. What do you think of the call with Ryan McKenzie? It was fun. It was an impromptu call.
Yeah, it's not every day you get to talk to someone whose business is doing 8, going up potentially 9 figures a year in revenue. So he's obviously got a massive, massive brand and shares some of the things that he's doing there. And obviously we dive down some of the rabbit holes of the things we're trying to do as well with Twitter and whatnot. Obviously Twitter's the hot topic.
Yeah, no. Yeah, and juggling how not to be too cringe on Twitter. But dude, I think he's definitely tried it all. He's been in the industry for so long, so that's why he knows it all.
Mm-hmm.
And for someone to be in 2023 and still running TV ads, it's got to be working, right? So maybe there's something to be said about these lesser utilized channels. Bro, we got to start running some radio ads for our podcast, probably.
I don't know if we need to like run it on a channel or a show where digital marketers and business owners are watching. I don't know what they all watch. What's a typical show someone would watch?
On the radio? Bro.
No, not the radio, on the TV.
Shark Tank,
you're on radio?
Shark Tank, man.
You have to run it on Fox News.
Yeah, I don't know.
News,
yeah, get all the conservatives in here. But yeah, it was a good chat. Dude, once again, no advertiser, no sponsor on this pod, but dude, the people could be the sponsor this time. Please smash that like button. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. The other channels, I think we're only at like 100 to 200 listens per episode right now on like Spotify, the podcast channels. But YouTube is like growing quite nicely, huh? Ever since it's popping like really hard. Ever since Dom Wells got off our channel, it's been popping. So it's been good. It's been really solid. So you guys continue to push it on YouTube. We're not getting that many comments, but the views are rolling in, the likes are coming in. So fine. It's been hard to getting you guys to comment for some reason. But hopefully you guys like more D2C CPG brands coming on, because that's most of my network. The Twitter people, we should probably get more SEO people, but we've been trying, man. We've been trying. It's hard. Hopefully we have some more people in the pipeline. Yeah, guys, go listen to the pod. Go engage with it. Let's just game the algorithm together. We do it for Google. Why can't we do it for freaking YouTube? Please help us out. All right, that's the pod. What's good, everyone? It's Jackie Chow.
And this is James DeLacy.
And you're listening to This Week in Digital Marketing. All right, welcome to This Week in Digital Marketing. My name's Jackie Chow. My co-host is James DeLacy, and we have a special guest on today, Ryan McKenzie. Why don't you give the audience a quick intro?
Wasn't planning on giving an intro, but I'm Ryan. I am one of the co-founders of truearth. We're a CPG brand out of Vancouver that kind of rose to prominence in 2019. I think we were the second fastest startup growing in Canada in 2020. And I think we were like the 45th fastest growing company overall in Canada last year. So it's kind of got a, decent trajectory. Is that good enough?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think we're just going to dive right into it. How long have you been working on truearth, and what were you doing before?
Yeah, so we launched truearth April 2nd, 2019. And so 4 years, and today's the 13th, so 11 days been working on it. But before that, I've done a ton of different stuff. Like before this, I was specifically in like the media industry, transitioning traditional print media from kind of an advertising sales focused business to like a content and commerce business with kind of like a focus on like subscription boxes and reoccurring purchase products, subscription products and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm old in the space, man. I'm almost 42, and I've had like an SEO agency. I've had like a bunch of different startups, but that's the 1 minute least tangent version I could think of.
Yeah. For the audience, Ryan and I have actually spoken throughout the years. Nothing like too deep, but like we're in a couple group chats together, and he seems like you're crushing it, man. It's good to finally chat, even though I'm like originally from Vancouver. We should have met like several years back, I think.
It's a small place. It's a small place, but it's also like it's crazy the amount of little pockets of people, you know.
Yeah. Yo, did you go to the My First Million event?
I did. Yep, I was there. Were you?
No, dude. I'm in Asia right now. But
Okay.
How was it?
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. I actually wound up speaking with Andrew Wilkinson's one of his. I don't know if it was like I forget her name right now, but I think she manages his portfolio or something like that. And like I came down to go use the bathroom, and I overheard her trying to get Abdul's information or somebody's information. Anyways, I'm like, oh, I can connect you. And then next thing you know, Tony from Vessi and like Derek from Tendrix, we were all sitting together. We all piled on and we were all chatting with her for like, I don't know. I basically missed 90% of the actual presentation or conversation that was happening on stage. But, you know, that happens a lot. A lot of the good things happen outside of the educational sections at conferences and events.
Did you speak with the VP of acquisitions, or was it?
It might have been.
She's from Vancouver.
Yeah, you know, I feel like a pretty big jerk right now, not remembering her name. I got it in my phone if I dug around enough, but yeah, she seemed like super nice, and we all had a really good conversation.
Yeah, yo, I see you're also trying to grow your personal brand recently. That's been tough for me, man. It's like a lot of work, and personally, I don't reap many of the benefits. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, well, you and me talk about this outside of this conversation a fair amount, but like, I think that like, I don't think I see as much of a direct benefit either. Like, it's not like I don't have anything to sell. I'm not selling people courses or services or, you know, but like, I do get a lot of like random opportunities coming my way. Like, I'm not taking any of these opportunities right now, but like, you never know. Like the way I look at it is, you know, the more vocal I am online, whatever it is that I'm currently doing, it's like I'm selling, you know, our main product's laundry detergent, and everybody does laundry. So even if it's not vertically related, there's upside there. But, you know, I feel like everything's easier when you have an audience. And if you ever do want to start something, or, you know, you ever want opportunity to deal flow to come your way, it's just a lot easier when you have an audience. It's like built-in authority or built-in trust, you know?
Yeah, I think the audience thing is especially prominent with My First Million guys. You know, they're able to get the first 10,000 customers just like that. And I think it's that's why I'm personally doing it. As well as I get to speak with cool people who I meet off Twitter. James,
sure.
have you seen something similar? Dude, I'm sure I've been trying to convince James to do the same. This guy is tough nut to crack.
James right there. James right there. Yo. Oh yeah, James, why aren't you doing it, man? I'm like looking up into space here. I'm like, who's James? I'm like, oh wait, hold on a second. I'm sorry, man. Like,
no, it's good. It's because I have my feet in two worlds, man. Because I came from obviously a different career. So my personal brand Twitter is full of like professional coaches, strength and conditioning stuff, plus random SEO people that have followed me from hosting the Niche Website Builders podcast, all that kind of stuff, and then this podcast. So I've got like this smorgasbord of an audience that if I post something, I'll probably reach half of them, and the other half will be like, what the fuck is this? And then if I post something else, it'll probably be the same. So I'd have to create a damn new Twitter probably to target it.
I actually found that was like one of the biggest problems that I had, like, and probably something that I struggled with the most, like over the last 10 years, like, was what do I talk about? Like, and I've tried like a million other times before this last like 5 months on Twitter where I started getting success, but like I would post for like a week or two and I'm like, man, I just feel like I'm like this, like projecting some bullshit. Like, I don't know, like I post like quotes or like just stupid crap. And I'm like, you know, I think that people, I couldn't figure out what I should post, like, and it drove me nuts. So I just didn't do it. And I just sat on it. And then, I started making YouTube videos like almost a year ago, and I haven't made that many, but just kind of like picking 4 or 5, 6 buckets at the beginning and just like posting content about them regularly. And then whatever ones people don't give a shit about, just stop. And then like try some other things. And like, you know, I'm not posting on Twitter about my family or like about coaching sports or how many beers I drank on the weekend. You know, it's just like, it's not like the fun party stuff unless it's with other people that are in that same 5 or 6 buckets that I thought of. And, you know, I think mostly like, what do you want to be known as? And what do you want people to think of you? Like, not like, from an egotistical perspective, but like if you were to stop doing what you were doing right now and you wanted to like either sell a service or be connected to the people that are most likely going to be able to drive whatever your new cause is forward, like whatever that is, you know?
Yeah. I think I personally found it's better to niche down in the beginning. I mean, you could be known as the CPG guy if you want. But I mean, that's where the direction you've been going. Dude, I like your YouTube content, actually. Your YouTube content is solid. It's like super high production too. Yeah, I've been planning about how to crack the YouTube code, but it's tough, man. It's tough. It's not as easy as Twitter, in my opinion.
For sure. And I think there's like there's a big barrier to entry on YouTube too, right? Like it's easy to, I guess it's not hard. I don't want to say it's not hard. Creating a podcast, you can record a podcast and blabber and have a great conversation. Like if people are interested in that topic, they'll sit there and listen to the whole entire thing. But like YouTube is just like, I don't think it's as bad as TikTok, but I think people don't want to sit around. It's not something you do while you're driving a car, right? Like people want to consume and they need it to be quick and it needs to be like, I don't know. It's a different beast. And it's taken me been quite the learning curve to kind of figure out the type of content and how to hold people's attention. Because at the end of the day, I think what it comes down to is like, how long do people watch each of your videos for multiplied by your click-through rate? And that's the algorithm. If you can keep people on your videos for a long ass time and you can make them click through to whatever it is that you're telling them they're going to get, you're going to get tons of traffic. But if you don't, then YouTube's going to give it to the people that get the eyeballs and get the views and the ads.
Yeah, I think the retention part, Mr. Beast absolutely crushes it. I'm not sure if you dove into Mr. Beast's video before, but man, that guy, I can't click out of any of his videos. It's so tough.
They're good such too, a great job. They're fun to watch.
Yeah. Very mindless though, I will say. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Yo, how did you grow True Earth, by the way? Was it primarily ads in the beginning and now you're breaking into wholesale? What's your playbook here? Which playbook did you follow?
Yeah, well, I mean, just kind of like a billion playbooks that I've either learned along kind of like the road. Like I always kind of refer to everything that happened before True Earth as kind of like playing. It's as an analogy, like playing in the farm team of your favorite pro sports team. It's you got to go in there and get the reps and learn how to do how to play the sport well, how to do the plays, and then when your opportunity shows up, you're able to execute on it and hopefully stay in the big leagues. But for us, we started pretty typical stuff: Facebook ads, Google ads. That was kind of the beginning, and I think like we've kind of grown it to obviously we're doing mid like 8 figures on our way to 9 per year. But
yo, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's like I think like it's just focus and staying like growing 1 or 2 channels really aggressively and doing them well. I think most of these little D2C brands, they struggle because they're trying to do like 1,000 different things all at the same time, like 1,000 different channels, and you have to allocate the resources you have. And people have limited resources, and if if you spread your resources too thin, nothing gets done well, and everything just kind of you don't grow.
Ryan, do you believe the saying, well, at least the MFM guys say, that you can get to 50? Well, I think Sully said it. He was a guest on MFM, but he said you can get to 50 mil a year just off of 1 channel. Do you think that's true? And 100 mil with 2 channels. a year?
Okay, so I mean that's a pretty huge caveat because it depends on the total addressable market size, right? So like if your total addressable market size is like 10 million people, that's not going to happen. And so like that's kind of he's tossing a number out there that's not like it's not like it's not black or white. But if your TAM is large enough, then yeah, for sure.
Your TAM's pretty fucking big. Every single person in the world needs it. So
what are we talking about again? Oh, TAMs, yeah, TAMs,
yeah. Yeah. No, but what has been like a surprising lever for you in the business? Has it been the wholesale side? And how do you even approach wholesale? Because we've been trying to crack that one on our D2C brand, but that's pretty tough.
I mean, I think like, well, somebody asked me this the other day, and I think really what it looks like if you're a D2C brand and you're starting out D2C is you do D2C until you're pretty comfortable. You've got enough resources that you can go over and move to Amazon. And once you're on Amazon, you're probably going to start getting, like, if your product's novel enough and you're doing enough advertising, you're going to start getting requests from like small retailers who are interested. And that's kind of how we originally got moving, is we started getting people asking if they could put our product in their store. So we started there. I don't think that it's wise for most brands just to go straight to big box retail. And like, that's because obviously not everybody knows this, but certain very large retail chains can put in a PO for your product. You'll take the PO, say it's $1 million worth of product, and you're a small business. You'll go to the bank and be like, hey, I need a small business loan for this PO to fulfill these big retail stores. You make all the product. Like the day before you fulfill it, they come back and they say, actually, we changed our mind. And now you've got $1 million worth of inventory on hand that you don't have the cash flow to support or to support the debt that you just took out. And it can really kill your business overnight. And
Damn.
I think that the small retail guys, they're also worth testing with initially as well, because if you can't sell through in one of these small chains, you're not going to sell through in a big chain. And if you don't sell through in a big chain, you get delisted, and you're going to have a heck of a time getting relisted in the future.
Yeah, I've that sounds like a nightmare with these big box retailers. Can they just cancel the PO last minute?
I don't know. Everyone's different, right? But I've heard horror stories, or like, another thing that can happen too is like you're trying to produce this by their deadline, and if you miss the deadline, they also can cancel. And it's just it's scary. So you just gotta. I don't think it's worth it for people to, unless you're an expert in retail. Starting in retail is, in my eyes, it's a risk for sure.
Yeah. What's your end goal for TrueArth? Is it like a juicy exit, or is it like a lifestyle business that you want to continue to run for the rest of your life? Or TSX sounds pretty good,
Yeah, we've kind of weighed out all the different options, and I think at the end of the day, the biggest thing is like we built this brand to try to have impact, and there's going to be a point where I don't know when that is, that somebody else will probably have to take it to from 100 million to whatever 500 million or whatever it is per year. But the most important thing really is that whoever we partner with on that, whether that's a partial exit or again, I don't know what it looks like, but it's that they carry forward and continue to have the same kind of like brand ethos and mission, and they're not just buying us to muffle our voices. But I mean, at the end of the day, like I think like for me, it's I could go and do another business if I wanted to. I could do another startup. I'm not really worried about like the from a lifestyle perspective. Like I could probably stop doing this and just coach or do some media buying on the side and probably have it easier. But I want to see how far we can take it.
Do you have to put a lot of hours into TrueArth right now, or do you have like a good team that you delegate to?
Yeah, I mean, I still put in like tons of time. There's been a couple nights this week where I was working until like midnight, but you know, I try to block my time so that I you know, that I'm not spending 80 hours a week working and I can spend time with my kids. But we got a great team that handles most of the marketing stuff. I kind of have my own projects that I'm working on that are more leverageable, less in the weeds. But yeah, it's mostly delegated, and but I'm still fully in the business.
Right. What are the marketing channels you're using outside of PPC then? Are you doing just general social media marketing and some kind of SEO along with it?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a shorter list of the things that we're not doing. You know, we've done everything from native, we're on TV, out of home, streaming like Hulu and like Paramount. We're on Facebook, Google, Nextdoor. Like, I mean, we're on podcast influencers seeding. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, it's we've gotten to the point where we're just everywhere, man.
Just everywhere. Is there one channel or a couple of channels that you've found, push the most revenue through?
I mean, I think it's pretty standard, like everybody else. Like Meta, even though it's not nearly as good as it used to be, it's still such a, I don't know. It's tough to compare. You know, like you hear a lot of people going off about how great TikTok is, but TikTok's, don't get me wrong, TikTok's good, but I don't think
I fucking hate TikTok.
Yeah, like it's addictive. But like, you know, the traffic quality is so bad. The people don't want to spend a lot of money. On average, they don't spend as much on like LTV. The creative turnover is so fast. Like you need to have it's just, I just find that there's still nothing that's as good as Facebook, you know, unfortunately.
Do you know what kind of demographic is actually on TikTok that you're targeting? Because people say it's for the younger generation, but then I've heard people also say that you're advertising to older individuals as well that seem to have TikTok.
Yeah, I think we're more targeting our actual target audience.
Okay.
But like, I mean, I go on TikTok. I can lose an hour on TikTok and like, you know, I pick my phone up to look at something. I don't even remember what the hell I was looking at going on there for in the first place, because the first video is like, oh, this is interesting. And then an hour goes by and I'm like, oh my God, I feel so dirty. I've been staring at my phone like a 14-year-old girl. Like, yeah, I think there's a lot of people on it, like, you know, but I just don't think the quality of traffic is great. And I don't know. I question the clicks if they're 100% legitimate based on the data that we've seen. It's just way too much volume with way too much browsing activity, but not a lot of like behaviors consistent with with somebody shopping. Like somebody doesn't spend that much time browsing the site and like not even consider it, you know? So it's just weird. I don't know. I'm not going to accuse them of anything, but like, it's weird.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised, but it could be a thing where your TikTok ad account doesn't have enough purchase data. Could be like that because Facebook's been farming it for years, right? They have such a great knowledge, they know exactly what your customer looks like.
Yeah, I mean the CPAs are reasonable. I just think the traffic is suspect, and the rate that you have to come up with new creative is like mind-boggling.
Oh yeah. Speaking of like the creative side, do you have like a full team that does the UGC, or do you outsource that out to like one of those UGC agencies that does gifting for you?
Yeah, so some of the stuff we do internally, like we have an influencer manager internally, but then we'll outsource some creative, we'll insource some creative. We've got like a videographer. We've got a couple girls on another brand that we bought called Net Zero, that they do a bunch of kind of UGC stuff, and we've got another agency that does some UGC stuff for us. So it's kind of comes from everywhere. But I like obviously having talent on the team, but there's so many different styles of creative that you can produce. I'm a big fan of using a few different creative agencies so that you can get a variety of like styles. And then usually there's some feedback loop and they kind of know what's working in their kind of their style versus like, you know, do you remember a couple years ago, there was like almost like, they're like UGC testimonial type ads that were kind of popular. They're less popular now, but it was almost like scripted, and it was like, they'd be like a few minutes long. Somebody who actually knows that is going to do a heck of a lot better job. Like no matter how many times I personally tried to edit, like I call them like a UGC sandwich ad, or like Ezra calls it like love demo love. I could never nail it personally, but like other guys, you know, that's all they do. And they know how to format it and script it and whatnot.
And are you still seeing these so-called UGC ads perform better on like Meta, for example?
I mean, yes and no. Like, I think they're great top of funnel. It seems like a lot of people are using image ads quite a bit more in the last month or two, or maybe it's been since the beginning of the year, since Facebook said they're going back to more images on Instagram's algorithm. But I don't know. Less of it is top of funnel, though. I think most of it's more mid lower funnel that it's capturing. But the images seem like they're working well again.
Yeah. Interesting, huh? Not seeing that on our side, mostly on the video, but we're mostly the European market.
What are you guys using? UGC stuff, or what are you using?
Yeah, heavy UGC stuff. But yeah, no, that's cool.
I mean, the UGC, honestly, it's tough to beat the UGC because, you know, you go to like a real studio and you get like, you know, we do a lot of these funny videos, and the price that we pay is an incredibly good price. But when I tell somebody, so like you hear D2C brands, I tell them like, listen, we spent like 50 grand on this piece of creative, and they're like, oh my God, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. And then I go and I talk to like, you know, big timer agencies, like PR agencies, and they're like, I only paid 50 grand for that. They're like, what? That's ridiculous. That should have been like $300,000. And it's funny how much more efficient like D2C brands are with their creative spend in comparison to, you know, like the Fords and the Nikes that are spending like easily like 1,000 times the amount on creative. But UGC specifically is so it's so efficiently priced, and you can test so much stuff that you're almost like, why would I even spend that money on the big brand, big production house creative, when it's like I can get 20, 30, 40, 50 times the creative and get 3 winners.
Yeah. You know, with you running so many channels, do you have like attribution issues? Because especially with stuff like out of home, because most people don't, even if you have a coupon code, for example, what we've seen is no one even uses it. You know?
Yeah. I think everybody has attribution problems, but like, so I mean, it depends what you're talking. If you're talking like TV, it's easier to measure because you have a timestamp for when the creative ran. You can look at like baselines and lifts over like a 5-minute interval. Other things like you could do like geo holdout, like I don't know. Everybody's talking. The big thing is that people talk about attribution from a very like, you know, it's basically Facebook, Google, digital click based tracking, right? It's a customer. I think like the Triple Whales and the North Beams as like customer journey tracking, and then you have like incrementality, which I think incrementality should dictate the like how do you do your media mix, and splitting that up across like, okay, we're going to spend this much on Facebook, this much on Google, this much on TikTok or whatever. And then you have like your qualitative stuff like post-purchase surveys that can validate like for instance, we're using Nextdoor, and it didn't really seem like we're getting that many conversions in GA, but we're seeing, again, it's qualitative. People can put in bullshit, but like we're seeing some responses in our Bestie. We're using this tool called Bestie, which is like a post-purchase survey app, and we were seeing that people were finding us there. So like,
really,
there's the bottom 2 tools I think are great for the media buyer because they can kind of get some ideas on which specific campaigns or creatives are functioning. And then the incrementality for like CMO and the media mix.
Huh. With your product being a consumable, is your LTV must be so nice. And how have you been able to calculate that throughout the last couple of years that you've been operating? Is it a hard one to calculate, or is it typically
no, it's not bad, right? Like we just basically use cohorts. So we would take like a cohort off with the first purchase. So like if the first purchase was like a monthly subscription and it was say September 2020, we would take a cohort of all purchases that happened in September of 2020 where the first purchase was that particular product. And then we can break it out month by month, either by a specific SKU or by like from a macro view. So we can kind of see like we've been able to dig into this and see like, okay, well, this particular SKU actually drives way more LTV than these other SKUs. Like, why aren't we pushing this more? But that takes time, right? Like you need the tough part with that is you need time to make it work.
Yeah. You know how sorry, we're jumping around a lot of topics, but I'm just personally curious.
I got ADHD and I'm low on stimulants here, so I'm probably tangenting like crazy too.
No, it's great. And a lot of these D2C brands, similar to we'll mention our mutual friend Tony here, but they're not on Amazon for a reason, because they're believing they'll cannibalize a certain percentage of their audience. Are you mixing it up with the SKUs? Like, are you having Amazon only SKUs and then off the site it's something different? How are you making sure people don't go over to Amazon because the fees are just ridiculous there?
Yeah, it's a good question. So if I was to do everything all over again, I would probably make a different SKU for Amazon. But the tough part is that if you're going to go on, so if you have like a wholesale SKU for retail, you have an Amazon SKU, you have a D2C SKU, you start getting like crazy SKU proliferation, which like just requires a lot of babysitting. I think that there's probably 20 to 30% of people that will not purchase an item from a direct-to-consumer website, that will only purchase things online from Amazon. Like there's a trust issue. My belief is I'm sure there is some cannibalization, but the upside revenue from the halo effect of your ads, my belief is that it offsets it. Also, you have the benefit of being in an environment. It's like being in a shopping mall, right? People are shopping for other things. Like, oh, I'm going to add that while I'm here too, if you rank properly and stuff. So I don't know. At the end of the day, my belief is that it's probably valuable to be there. I would probably suggest making your wholesale prices high enough that if somebody was to buy the product wholesale, they can't undercut and take the buy box from you, or undercut you over there. But other than that, I think it's worth being there.
Oh shit! Have you had that before? Like wholesalers hijacking your listing?
Yeah, and we haven't. Our agreement says too, like, you're not allowed to list this, but you get like shell companies that buy from the wholesalers and then they list it under a different company. So it's tough. There's even if it's like brand registry, they're still going to do it. And
what the heck?
You basically just have to switch the price down a bit.
Whoa! All right. Are you guys? How's the geo split for you? Are you guys in Europe? Are you mostly NA right now? Sorry, I looked into your brand, but not like deep enough within this 20 minutes of leeway.
20-minute prep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in Europe. Like actually, Molly Pittman. I don't know if you know Molly from used to be a digital marketer. Now she's with Smart Marketer. But she texted me the other day from Florence, Italy, and it was like there's a gift basket there that had truearth in it. And I was like, oh, that's pretty sweet. Like I think we're in like 80 countries, but we're like mostly North America. We're in pretty big in the UK, not as big as here. UK, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore. Like those are all kind of the channels or countries. I mean that we're playing in.
And I guess, is your split similar to Vessi, since you're Canadian as well, that they have higher market dominance in Canada but higher sales in the US?
Yeah, we've served like something like 100 Facebook ads to every single person on Facebook in Canada. Like, it's insane. So, but with 10 times the market in the US, it's a slower density. It's slower to build the density there.
Yeah, but I think once you figure that out, it's a money printer in the US. Have you had any copycats pull up on you guys yet? I'm sure you have a ton.
Oh yeah. There's tons. It's
how do you defend against something like that?
I generally prefer to not acknowledge them. Just let them do their own thing. Focus on us.
Yeah. All right. Because I think I've seen you mention this before, but that must be so annoying, especially since if I remember correctly, they would like copy your creatives as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much like there's probably like 100 knockoffs in the US now, and they almost all have taken the exact like big ideas, hooks, like everything that I originally created, which I mean, it's kind of cool too. It's shitty at the end of the day, but like I was really pissed off when I originally discovered it, but like it's also flattering in a way that like I essentially created this set of copy that's really like, there's probably at least a few $500 million a year industry that all stem from some thoughts I had in the shower.
Yeah. And I guess if they're following your ethos, it's generally good for the environment, right? So you guys are making the impact that you set out to do. So it's good.
Totally.
Yeah. Are there any channels that you haven't tried or you think is promising in the future that you're looking into now? We know TikTok has like probably sailed. Like, for example, Twitter. We both love Twitter. Ridge, I think Sean from Ridge said it's working well for them. I'm not sure if you're seeing anything similar.
Yeah, I've texted Sean a couple times about it, and he said similar things to me. Some other brands that I know, like Morning Brew, not Morning Brew, Noon Brew. I mean, sorry, Noon Brew. They've had a bit of success there. I haven't really dabbled too much in it, but it's one of the ones that like I've considered. I've also like even just considered like going after like an organic strategy on TikTok, because I mean, both of us have done fairly well in terms of like figuring out how to get distribution. So it's like been in the back of my mind for a while. Like, why don't I take some of these ideas and layer it into Twitter? But haven't got there yet. Need more hours in the day.
Yeah. What's your hour split look like right now? Because man, I don't know about you, but I'm just jumping from thing to thing. There's no like deep work time where everything's allocated. James, are you something similar as well? And then on to you, Ryan.
I just do whatever's on my to-do list on my plate at the time, and just whatever I feel like doing, really. Some days I feel like writing, some days I don't. Some days just before this, I filmed a YouTube video, edited it, uploaded it for tomorrow so I can stick to my 3 videos a week. Published 3 tweets today. Bro, I was on today.
Yeah.
Nice. Sick. Working the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm similar. Like I try to block my time. Like I try to block like an hour on like a Sunday to come up with like as many, like try to block most of my tweets out for the week and like plan one video. And then try to forward that off to somebody else to edit, because editing is like just takes so much time. So like I used to edit all my videos before, but really it's like for me I try to get at least 2 hours of like solid deep work where I can like really get into whatever I'm working on per day. And then I'm like James, I like make a list. I don't know where my book is, but I have like this paper list, and I like have it like broken into like projects, like quick things, personal stuff, and like recurring things. And I just kind of like, I got ADHD. I said it like 8 times on here already, but like I get overwhelmed when I start to get too many things. So like one hack that I found is like, if I start feeling like that overwhelm, is like, I look at my list of stuff and like, what are like 1 or 2 things that I can bang out in like 10 minutes? And the dopamine or whatever it is that gets released after you've like finished something, it's like, okay, I feel like I'm in control again. And that's kind of, you know, I work the projects, and again, I'm like James, I get 3 or 4 tweets queued up for every day, 1 YouTube video, and that's my content machine.
I do the same thing as you. I've got my to-do list here, and I just cross stuff off as I go. And that, like you, I made my list way too big. I just put everything on there that I know that I need to do, and if I don't get it all done that day, I know I'm not going to. But it's like a week list that just keeps getting crossed off and added to, and it's just never ending.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 things that you never do. Like, yeah.
Yep, that's how it goes. Jack, you got to try it.
No, I have that, but it's day based, and it's categorized with like personal and work. It's but yeah, I
Dude,
gotta pick that.
I just put everything in the same list.
No, that's messed up. Yeah, Ryan, how do you? So, I don't know if you're following along what I'm doing on Twitter lately, but how do you balance like being cringe on Twitter for the exposure and like reach versus not doing cringe shit and like adding value? But those don't pop off. I see people don't want to get value. They don't want to do actionables. They just want to see interesting shit and then do nothing about it. They want to see big numbers. They want to see interesting ads. I don't know. How do you deal with it? Because I'm struggling right now, man.
It's true. Like, I think like actually Alex Hormozy had a pretty good way of putting it. Like before I jump into that, somebody blocked me the other day. I don't even know. I have no idea how long ago it was. It was somebody in the DDC community. And I started seeing like, this person's content is private. I'm like, who the hell is this? And I guess he had posted that rules are rules, and he blocked me because I did like a retweet for something. I haven't done one for a while now, but so I got blocked by whatever whatever his name is. But you know, I could see why it's annoying to do it all the time, because I see it kind of bugs me when like, it doesn't bug me enough to block somebody. And like, if somebody's made a cool resource, like realistically, it's a tiny value exchange to get the document. If it's a shitty document, then that's a whole nother thing. But as a whole, and like, it's like, he's like, do cool shit and tell people about it. And unfortunately, the only way that you can generally get a ton of attention is by quantifying why what you have to share is valuable. And usually that's like, I've done $100 million in revenue, and these are the 3 things that like I do in order to maximize revenue on every sale, whatever that looks like, right? And I don't know if it's cringe, but like I just try to balance it with other stuff, and not $1 million number. Like when I've got something that I really want to get reach on. But I find that like just being polarizing, like, man, anytime I mention ugly websites converting better than good websites, it's like, it's crazy. Just like endless sea of people going, like, giving me their opinion on why. So trying to think of like polarizing questions has been another good source of content for me. But I don't know, man. You know what? At the end of the day, it's like, is your audience growing? Is your engagement growing? Like, is it growing faster than you're losing people? And you can always optimize it more. But like, if that's the only way that you can get attention now, until people know who you are, then unfortunately that's the way it goes. But, you know, avoiding doing the retweet or some sort of like micro transaction in exchange for content. Yeah, like they work really well. Like
the auto DM campaign.
I've had a lot of people bitch at me about him. Yeah, I don't know. You get to a tipping point when you stop doing it. I think that's the trick.
Yeah. I actually started a new account just to do that. You can do that all day on that account, just so I don't, churn the current audience I have.
3 a week?
But yeah,
I'm doing 3 a week now.
How's it working?
3 a week.
How's it working? Like,
starting with
how
just
many
going
followers
crazy.
you have right now, Jim?
But it's like it's a newer account.
Nice.
I got 100 followers the past couple of days. It's only got 400 something now. It's only about a couple of weeks, less than a couple of weeks old. So I'm trying to grow this.
Yeah,
it's almost kind of anonymous.
I feel like nobody listens to you consistently until you like.
But I'm just mixing up now, and
followers for some reason.
Yeah, exactly. So got to do crazy shit in the meantime, and just 3 auto DM campaigns a week.
Yo, Ryan, you know my friend Tanya
from,
Lee, right?
what's
I
the name
think you
of
guys
the
are in the
company
same
again?
warehouse together now. Is that true?
Yeah. I haven't met her in person.
Les, the label.
She Kevin, who runs the warehouse, told me about them, and then she randomly commented something on Twitter. And I'm like, hey, I remember you from Kevin said something about you. So yeah, we've had a couple DMs. I don't like know her like super well, but sounds like she's doing some cool stuff.
Oh, I thought you guys work in the same office, pretty much. But it's just
it's a different company.
Right? Is it separate? How's
Kevin,
your like company
Kevin,
set up right
he's
warehouse
one of the
separate from the
founders of
office?
truearth too. He's the CEO of this other business called My Passion Media, and it's basically a 3PL and kind of like a SaaS for like e-commerce and subscriptions. So that those are the two things that they kind of offer. And I guess she's working with him. So I haven't been there. I do go there. Like Kevin and I work together on like different tech stuff, like once a week usually. And she hasn't come in on the same day that I've happened to be there, or at least I didn't know she came in.
Yeah. So Kevin's your co-founder.
There's 3 of us. So
how'd you guys
Kevin,
meet?
Brad, and me. Kevin and I actually met like when we were like 5. Our parents say it was before kindergarten.
Okay.
Both of our oldest memories is kindergarten, but we've been friends since we were 5. Yeah, crazy.
Whoa. Whoa. How's working with Kevin?
Yeah, we're pretty
you guys
much
fight a lot.
We were like
then?
best.
You guys are pretty much like family at that point, right? That's wild.
Yeah, like I mean, we've fought with each other before, but like it's usually like when the fight's over, it's like the fight's over, right? There's not like it doesn't go on from like I don't know. We're basically family. Yeah, like it doesn't really matter what happens. I don't think that that's common amongst people in business. That I think like, and most of our fights are actually generally not about business, like drunken fights or I don't know, mostly stupid stuff. But like, yeah, like I don't know, just we both just I guess see eye to eye and can usually work through any argument pretty quickly. So lucky.
With 3 co-founders, do you have an issue with the direction you want to take the company?
Yeah, I mean,
or
for
does
the most
everyone
part,
have
we
like autonomy
generally
on what
stayed
they
in
do?
our own lanes, and that's kind of what made the relationship function well. So yeah, like Brad has kind of played the CEO role. I've generally done all the marketing or been in control of the marketing, and Kevin's been behind like the tech, and it's been fairly symbiotic.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Yo, I don't know if you're sold on this yet, but you need to get a newsletter going, man.
Dude,
I'm not sure if you're seeing my numbers. This shit's crazy.
Yeah. Like I don't have personally have the capacity to do anymore. Like I actually 2 weeks ago, I actually reached out to something. At this point in my life, I'm like, I want to do something. I'm gonna get somebody else to do it. For the most part, like I reached out to somebody who I was gonna have help me with it, and I had a relationship with some editors for my videos before that they were doing them for me, and the company that was doing it, they ended their this agreement, not just because they cut some resources, so I had to go and find a new editor. So that I put it on hold. It may happen still, but the short term, my personal stuff was like I need to find somebody to edit my videos, because I cannot, like I just can't. It's just too much. But yes, soon. I've been in the newsletter business multiple times before, like back in like 2001. Yeah, 2001. I had like 500,000 subscribers, like a funny joke newsletter, and then yeah, I'm old, man. I'm old. Like Explore magazine, when I was in that space, we had like 100 something thousand subscribers to the newsletter, and we drove that primarily with like a lead, like a self liquidating lead magnet. So we would drive leads to this like best hiking guides and best hikes in Canada, and then we'd offer them like a 3-year subscription for like $35 to the print magazine after they got the guide. And then there'd be a bunch of upsells. And then we've also done like quiz funnels to get leads in the past. I was a case study for like Ryan from the Ask Method at one point. But yeah, man, I newsletter business is good business. I just, the bandwidth is, and the tough part about being an entrepreneur is like deciding what you should do with the time that you have. And like, I actually like came up with, like core values for my own like personal self, like not like as a business, but just for my life. So that, and I try to like think about how does this impact these every time I make a decision. And it's like, for me, I want autonomy. So I want to be able to, no matter what happens, I want to be able to do whatever I want to do. I want simplicity. Like it's got to be easy enough that it's not like that I could delegate it and that it doesn't make everything else in my life hectic. And then the third thing is variety. Like I want to be able to do lots of cool shit. I don't just want to be stuck doing one thing. It like, you know, feeds my ADHD, makes me happy. So like if it checks all those 3 boxes, which it can, if I can find somebody to do the work for me, then I'll jump into it. But I don't want to take on new things until I've got the other systems, you know, going nice and smooth.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned coaching. That sounds like a pretty good fit, right?
For sure. It's just like, you know, taking on more than a couple people. Like coaching uses up mind space too, right? Because you're thinking about the business beyond just the hour or 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours you're on the call with them a month. So I don't think that like anybody that's like a business coach that's juggling like 20 clients is probably able to do a really good job, because it's impossible to, it's like having another wife. It's just a lot of shit you got to remember.
Whoa. Yeah. And have you been getting these leads from Twitter right now? Would you want to expand that business, or are you thinking like, yo, I'm just going to take a cohort of like 5 people?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm pretty swamped, so I'm not really actively looking to do it. But like, you know, I did sign up for mentor. I'm a mentor pass. So like, there's like I have like 5 hours early mornings per week that like I'm cool with jumping on calls with people, but it just depends on the cycle I'm at. And like right now I think I'm at a happy medium for the amount of work and stuff that I'm doing. But I think like, you know, Molly Pittman's got a pretty good model. They do 1 call per week, and it's a group call, and everybody has to have their questions in before the call. They address all the questions that were submitted. And then if there's anything extra for like 30 minutes to 45 minutes afterwards, then people can ask questions. But it's pretty straightforward. I think that would be something I'd look at. But the actual like the 1-to-1 and really understanding somebody's business is just it's a big ask.
That's a pretty good setup, actually. I like the getting the questions in.
Yeah.
And then answering.
Yeah,
I guess it's like
they have
live,
a community.
the call.
They have a community.
Live
she has a community
recorded, right?
too, but like she's not
pretty into that.
Zero activity from the hosts on the community. It's just for people to kind of like shoot the shit and whatever. But like, it sounds like a really good model to me. Like something that I'd definitely consider if in the event that I wanted to go deeper down that rabbit hole. But you know, you have to. I think like I'd rather continue to build my my give model that I've got right now, and then when it comes time for actually being in a situation where I need money for something, then I can easily throw something together.
It's fair enough. Touchy subject, but how do you guys decide how much to pay yourself as like a company? Because you got 3 co-founders, you guys have payroll, you guys have huge overhead. Because you have to make sure cash flow isn't completely. Because you guys can get destroyed if you pay yourself too much. You know.
So we actually have bands built CFO who does that, different levels in the company. Like we have like 100 employees, right? So like basically there's bands, and there's like, you know, You got to be within the band, everybody. And like the CEO, we did a raise last year. So the board determines the CEO's pay. And pretty much everybody else just falls within their bands, and that's it, right? Like there's fortunately, however you want to look at it, it's based on average salary or like average salaries for particular roles in Canada, and yeah, it's like I don't know, that's the way it is right now. I'm not sure
Regionally?
How things are going to be in the future, but it's kind of like having a job, really.
Yeah. Why'd you guys raise money? Is it just for cash flow reasons? Or is it to grow faster?
We were looking to get some like automation tools for like packing product. But really was trying to grow, move a little more international. Just basically, as you get bigger, like, man, your cash flow requirements for product are pretty big, especially when you want to go into additional territories. Like you need to have enough inventory there to supply any kind of demand, and supply chain logistics, like making sure that you've got enough inventory everywhere all times is important. So part of it was building up inventory, part of it was growth, part of it was capital expenditures.
Yeah, I think the supply chain optimization is
we actually have
but your co-founder
supply
deals
chain
with
guy,
it, right? So they're like dedicated,
a full team behind it, which is they've built like some crazy. There's a tool called like River Logic, I think it's called, to do like I don't even know, man. It's like just so out of my realm of knowledge. Like I will never be the supply chain guy of any business anywhere. I will tell you how to sell stuff. I will tell you how to sell more stuff. But I'm not going to tell you the best way to juggle your logistics.
Yeah, it's a nightmare and a half. Well, listen, I think we have 5 minutes left. Ryan, I really appreciate you coming on today. Why don't you?
Yeah. I didn't come on here for a plug, but you can find me on Twitter at RYE McKenzie, McKenz or Z, wherever you live. IE. And if you Google my name on YouTube, I'm sure you'll find the YouTube channel. I almost got 1,000 subscribers. I'm so close. Just like 19 way.
Dude, you can get there, man. You can get there. But yeah, if you guys need some laundry strips that are is like environmentally friendly, thanks. I'll link it below. Guys, go support Ryan. He doesn't need it. Let's be honest, he doesn't really need it. I'll probably slip in my Amazon affiliate code in there, and we can go from there. But yeah, check out. Have you had issues with like Amazon blocking your listing? Just like
yes and no,
because these guys are a nightmare to work with.
Cleaning supplies, there's a lot of there's a lot of ingredients that are like flagged, or there's a lot of products that are flagged because of some products' ingredients. Our laundry has pretty much always been good outside of what COVID, when they limited supplies and stuff. But like we have like a toilet bowl cleaner that's been like slapped all over the place. Like we've had like our dishwasher detergent, which is like made of like enzymes. It's had some challenges, but I think we're almost there for everything. But our main products have always been pretty healthy. Just it's these secondary things that, like, I don't know. I'm just glad that I don't have to deal with what's it called? Compliance.
The regs? Oh yeah. Yeah. And when you guys expand product lines, they're never as big as your main product line, probably. But how do you determine how much money you put into it? Because
I guess
in the beginning
right?
they won't really break even.
We test like
in terms of like
landing pages, and we test like placements on Amazon, and like it's a different environment now than it was in 2019, right? Like, in 2019 you get like $7 CPAs on Facebook. Like, man, I would do horrible things to get those CPAs again, right? So it's like to think like you launch a new product, and I think there's some expectation that you're going to have similar success, but it's just the game has changed. So, you allocate a test budget, check what like the revenue per session looks like. It takes time before you get any cohort data on like the LTV. So you don't want to go and like dump all your money on a new product when you're going to make 30% less LTV over the year. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like you might get a higher ROAS on the first purchase, but if that means like considerably less revenue over the course of the year because the repurchase rate's low, like you're kind of hurting the business for short. Yeah. It's good. The last minute ones are always fun.
Man, this is a fun chat, man. Really appreciate you coming on today. We gotta have you on again sometime.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
You have to send me James's
definitely
YouTube
a last minute pod. Yo, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, cheers, Ryan.